My name is Jefferson Braswell. I'm the Special Magistrate for the Code Enforcement Matters. I've been assigned to hear these pursuant to Chapter 162 Florida statutes. And just so you kind of understand how this goes, this is what I call a mini trial in a way. The rules of evidence and procedure do apply. You are entitled to hear the charges against you and to see and hear the evidence against you. You have a right to testify on your own behalf. You have a right to cross-examine and question those that testify against you. You have a right to call your own witnesses in this proceeding. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as we go through the process. I'm going to go ahead and swear everybody that's going to be presenting testimony today. If you'll stand and rise and raise your right hand, please. Yeah, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, so we're going to start with, we have one member of the public that's here. So we're going to start with Special Magistrate number 2022-127, City of Gainesville versus 1221 East University Avenue. We'll begin with the presentation, then you'll have an opportunity to speak. Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed.
Rick Ward, Code Enforcement Officer, City of Gainesville. Case before you is Special Magistrate Case 2022-127, address 1221 East University Avenue. Property information, parcel numbers 11560-000-000. Owner is Eastside 1221 LLC. Property zoning is U7. Ownership established by researching official public records and documents. The property is right here. This is East University Avenue. This would be Waldo Road.
Okay.
Right here would be Kentucky Fried Chicken, I believe.
On that corner? Okay. I know right where you're at. Okay, thank you.
Ordinance violated. 30-9.3, prohibited signs. Any sign not expressly authorized by this sign code is prohibited. These following signs: off-site premise or off-premise signs, trailer signs, vehicle signs, roof signs, electronic signs, moving signs, snipe signs, obscene signs, pennants, balloons, dancing tubes, and so forth. The business Any Means Detailing has placed numerous illegal feather flags and signage at this location and off-site from this location. Corrective action was to remove any and all feather flags and other illegal signage advertising for this business. Definitions of a moving sign means any sign that moves or mimics movement by natural or mechanical means, including but not limited to signs designed to flutter, wave, twirl, change the direction of a plane, or mimic movement with changes in lighting, text, or pictorial information. Snipe sign means any temporary sign that is attached to any object, including but not limited to a tree, utility pole, or fence post that is either located on public property or located on private property without the owner's consent. Photograph was taken 10/27. As you can see, the numerous feather flags. You can also see snipe signs. These are located on right-of-way. There were also another one on right-of-way, or that one might actually be, no, that's on right-of-way. There were also signs located on the corner of Waldo Road. I confiscated those signs. Another photograph that's also taken 10/27 of this year. As you can see, there's 4 signs. 1, 2, 3, 4 that are on the right of way. Notice the feather flags have been removed at that time. Just another shot of the same day. Now that is still taking 10/27. That's looking from University Avenue South. Another sign that was not visible. That sign is on private property. And there is another one located right there and one there. As well as a sign there on the fence. And that is the day that I posted. That's taken 10/28. My notice of violation is posted right there. That was taken 11/22. That is the posting of the special magistrate hearing. Case timeline 10/27. While on routine patrol, I observed numerous feather flags and signs at this location, also off-site. This business, any means detailing, has previously been cited and voluntary compliance was achieved 1 day before the magistrate hearing. 10/28/2022, a notice of violation issued, 10-day time frame to comply. Notice of violation was sent to the property owner, certified and regular mail, as well as posted on the property and at City Hall. I also posted a copy at the owner's residence as listed in SunBiz. Compliance date was 11/7/2022. The property owner is a different entity than the business owner. On 11/17/2022, I went to the location and found the feather flags were removed, but the temporary signage is still on the right-of-way, and there are too many signs as per the ordinance. As per ordinance, a non-residential business can have 4 signs, 4 temporary signs, and they can be out there for a minimum or a maximum of 180 calendar days. On 11/22, I posted the notice of hearing on the property and at City Hall. 11/29/2022, I spoke to the owner of Any Means Detailing by phone. He expressed his desire for me to reinspect and place the case into compliance because the feather flags are no longer flying. I explained that he still has too many illegal signs on and off location, and because this is the 3rd time now that I've had to deal with this same violation, we will proceed to the magistrate hearing for a ruling. I explained that he and the property owner will have an opportunity to address the magistrate during this hearing. This photograph was taken this week. As you can tell, all of the feather flags are not there. There was only one sign, but that one sign is on the right-of-way again. Staff recommendations: adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $178.69 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 5 days to bring this property into compliance. It's just a matter of moving some signs. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $50 per day.
Okay. May I hear from the respondent, please? Come forward if you care to speak. Please state your name for the record.
Quante Young.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Sorry. Quante Young.
Okay. What's your response? Yeah, did you want to say something? Oh, no, I've already sworn him in. He was standing earlier.
What am I actually responding to? Am I responding to why I have the signs out or?
Look. Here's the situation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting here. I'm thinking, this guy appears to be a go-getter, an entrepreneur, and you seem to have a good location, and I suspect that the signage helps your business. I mean, it probably attracts drivers. It's against the rules.
Okay.
All right, and I think you know that. I think that code enforcement has told you that, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm here to enforce the rules. I don't get to write them. I don't make them. The city
Yes, sir.
commission writes them. I just am the administrator, so to speak, of them. So I mean, you are guilty, okay?
Yes, sir.
And so really, it's a question of the conduct going forward. And so, I mean, what I see is that you have an opportunity. I mean, I don't know what your relationship is with the property owner and whether it's good or whether you're going to be able to stay there. Obviously, a great location for your business. Why don't you think about investing in a more permanent sign and getting it properly permitted? And I know that that's going to be expensive, but you keep coming back here, and it's going to get a whole lot more expensive. Okay, so you
Understand.
got to appreciate. So,
Yes, sir. Okay.
do you have
I got
something
you.
else you want to say?
I got you now. All right. Talking to Mr. Rick, that's his name, Ward, right?
Yeah.
Talking to Mr. Rick Ward, he told me I could have the yards, the red car wash signs, right? He was pointing at that was on the side of the road that was on the right of way, right? Me and him had the two altercations that one time with the flags. For me, I also do mobile detailing service as well. So sometimes I have people working for me, and they don't sometimes know about the flags. They just see them. Like, if you see flags, you would obviously say, "Let's put them up." But understand, like, you don't. I know I'm not supposed to have the flags. That's why one time when I was coming up to my shop, he was actually out there, and he could tell you. And I was just pulling up to my shop, and he was like, "You're not supposed to have the flags." And I told him I wasn't there, which I actually took him down as we were speaking, because I knew we weren't supposed to have them up, but I wasn't working. Like, I have people that work for me as well.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not offering that as an excuse, though, right?
No, I wouldn't say that's an excuse, no, sir. But he came in one time and was saying, "I'm the cause of people putting up flags," right? But I can go down University and see flags and signage that he pointing out to me, which stays up all day, every day. My signage comes out when I go out and comes in when I go in, and that's only between 10 to 5. That's 6 hours, right? And then there's a postage that says you can have a flag, you can have signage out within 3 hours, right? Within that same spot, which I move them every time before 3 hours. Like, and then what signage can I have? Honestly, if I have a banner that he pointed out that's actually on my property itself, and you can go down the road, they have banners, they have thousands of banners on their flag, on their gate. Like, that's how you attract people. I have no way of attracting people. You say it's in a good spot, it is, but as far as my location, it's backed off inside of that gate which he's pointing at. So if you look at it from Waldo Road, you have no time to actually see this building. I painted that wall, that mural that's on the wall, because
Nice.
I wasn't even supposed to have. I'm the only thing I'm supposed to have that. But he let that go, I believe. So honestly, I have no way of putting any signage out. I bought an A-frame, which that was legal to put out there. That blew away. Like, I have no way of putting any signage out. My car wash signs are my only way of having signage. And then even if I put them off of the right of way, it's still going to be wrong because he said I'm not supposed to have them. So you have to see it from what am I supposed to do?
Well, my understanding is signage is permitted through the building department, through planning and zoning, over in the Thomas Center. So what you've got to do is you've got to go over there and pay for a permit to have signage. and it's going to be required to meet the standards of the city of Gainesville. So it's not that you can't have signage. You just have to do it through the proper permitting process.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Understand.
so you have to develop a sign. You have to figure out what its dimensions are going to be, where it's going to be placed, how it's going to be installed, and you take that over to the planning department over the Thomas Center. You can make an appointment. They'll sit down with you. They'll go over it, and they'll help you understand what you can and cannot have. And let me tell you, when you are done with it, you will have a product that is more attractive than what you are putting out there. So you just have to follow the rules. You just they're doable.
Is the
I
banner,
know it's inconvenient, but you can do this.
I know, but I'm saying, is the banner not legal? That banner I have is legal, right? That is legal.
Look, what I'm here to judge is that the evidence that has been presented shows that you are guilty in violating the sign ordinance.
And yes, sir, that would do the flags. Yes,
And
sir.
you continue to do so by putting things in the right of ways and so forth when
Yes, sir.
that's not proper. And what I'm just trying to help you understand is that there's a better way to move forward. Let me tell you, then this will be the last thing I want to render my ruling on it, okay?
Yes, sir.
This is really important, okay? If you do this again, then you're going to be a repeat violator.
No, I understand.
Okay,
That's
and
what I'm trying to.
and your fines will run from the date of that until compliance, and they will be twice as much. So you're really getting yourself in a situation where you cannot afford to be a second-time violator, because it's really going to cut into your profits. Okay, I know these margins are tight, and I know you work hard for your money. So I'm just trying to help you understand the importance of doing it the right way.
I am trying to do it the right way, but if he's going back on his word, I have no way of doing it right. He said I could have the signs, and then now he's pointing them out that I can't. So I have to.
Planning and zoning, Thomas Center, go over there with the signage that you think you want and sit down and talk with them.
Excuse me. So I did that, sir, and that same signage that I'm going to get from them is just going to be a plaque. It's going to be a plaque, a banner, just the same as the one he pointed out. That's going to be on my fence. That's
Your defense for any future violation will be the permission granted by the city of Gainesville.
so.
That's the only
that's the
defense
only way
that
I'm
you can
out.
have. That's the only way you're going to get through this process.
Man.
So you're going to have a little stretch here that's going to be rough on you, and you have to come up with other ways, word of mouth,
Yes, sir.
other ways to attract your business until you can get this done properly.
Yes, sir.
But listen, I so appreciate your obvious, work ethic and what you're doing and how you're going about it. So, look, the last thing I want to do is discourage you from being successful and discourage you, but I want to encourage you to do things the right way.
No, I understand that. But
Okay. Anything else?
I have pictures of all of this stuff that he's pointing out that these other people are not getting. I'm correcting everything I do that's wrong. These people are still.
Well, you keep doing it, though. You keep putting,
I don't-
obviously code enforcement is telling you don't put the signage in the right of way, and you continue to do so.
But he told me I can do that though. That's what I'm trying to say. He actually told me I could have these car wash signs right there. Those 4 signs right what he's pointing out right there specifically. I wouldn't lie about that. Like I wouldn't. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Would you care to respond to that?
yes, please. And if I can't have them there, I won't have any signs. Period. And then nobody know I'm not going to be open until I get a banner that's going to be the same as one that's on my fence.
Yep.
Every business that I have gone to, I explain where they can place the signs. It is never on right of way. I explain how many they can have, the size, dimensional sizes of the signs. Also, at every location, I leave a copy of the ordinance and what they're zoned under. It shows exactly what they can do. And I leave my business card. and I tell them to call me before you spend money to advertise, and let me try to help you. In this case, it didn't happen.
He says that didn't happen. I can call my aunt. We had a whole conversation with this man about my signs. I had my family. We talked to this man multiple times before any of this happened. This.
Yeah, I'm sorry. When I said it didn't happen, that did not mean that I didn't leave you the information and explain everything. It means that you did not contact me. I'm sorry. I should have been more clear on that. You did not bother to contact me before you went sticking these signs out again.
I have no. I don't want to say any more things.
Well,
don't-
I take
Yes, sir.
I take no great pleasure in this.
I'm gonna take all my signs down, sir. That's all. Can I get the cost, please?
Okay, so I'm going to follow staff recommendations. Okay, I want to encourage you to go over and talk to planning and take a design with you, show them what you want to do. You're going to find it enhances your business way better than what you've been doing. But I'm going to follow staff's recommendations. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty. I'm going to assess administrative costs of $178.69 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 5 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $50 a day. Now, I'm confident that you're going to bring it into compliance. I'm concerned that there might be a repeat violation, so I think it's important that you do the homework and make sure you know exactly what you can and cannot do, okay?
It's fine.
Okay. I wish you the best of luck, sir. I really do.
So I have 5 days. That's it.
5 days it's nothing to comply with. You just pull the signs up and don't put them back.
No, I mean the cost. Do I pay anything? I'm just.
Yes,
trying
you can. The ladies over here, I think, can direct you to the clerk's office and show you where you can pay the cost at.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The PowerPoint presentation is admitted as Exhibit A. Okay, next matter. Special Magistrate number 2022-117, City of Gainesville versus CAFFIE and CAFFIE HEIRS. Officer Hall, you may proceed, sir. You have been sworn.
I have some people from my other case here first. Can we go to their case first?
Sure, which one is that?
That's going to be 2022-128. It should be 205 Southeast 16th Avenue.
Okay. Then we will proceed with that matter, and that is Special Magistrate number 2022-128, and that is City of Gainesville versus Sweetwater 16 LP. And you may proceed, sir.
There we go. So again, this is, I'm Officer Kevin Hall. This is going to be Special Magistrate case number 2022-128. The address is 205 Southeast 16th Avenue, apartment 24C. The property information, the parcel number is 15701-055-000. The owner is Sweetwater 16 LP. The property zoning is RMF7. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. So it is located right over here by 16th and Wilston Road.
Okay.
On 8/23/22, I observed rodent droppings and a dead mouse in the kitchen. The flooring in the kitchen was also cracked and soft. The first violation is 305.4. Stairs, walking surfaces. Every stair, ramp, landing, balcony, porch, deck, or other walking surface shall be maintained in sound condition and good repair. The other violation was 3091, infestation. Structures shall be kept free from insects and rodent infestation. Structures in which insects or rodents are found shall be promptly exterminated by approved processes that will not be injurious to human health. After pest elimination, proper precautions shall be taken to prevent reinfestation. So this is just one of the photos right here. She has traps throughout the house. They caught rats numerous times inside the apartment. This photo was taken on 8/23/2022. This is more of the area where the rats were getting in underneath right here, and you can also see the cracking in the flooring there, and then right here too. The case timeline. On 8/23, I confirmed the violations were present. I spoke to the property manager, who advised that she would be in contact with pest control. On 8/31, I attempted to contact management multiple times to no avail. The complainant advised that the problem had not been fixed. I issued a notice of violation with a compliance date of 9/19/2022. On 8/31/2022, service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. On 9/22, I spoke with the apartment manager, who advised that they had made the repairs. I attempted to reach out to the complainant, but at that time I couldn't get a hold of her. On 11/4/2022, I spoke with the complainant, and she advised that the rats were still there. On 11/22, I conducted another inspection of the apartment and observed that the flooring was still damaged, and also signs that the rats were present. On 11/22/22, I posted a notice of hearing for the property and at City Hall. So this is another area that we found that they're getting in. This is the bottom of where the AC unit is. That was taken on 11/22. And then you can see that they're coming in up here too also.
Why does that go to the attic? Like an attic
Yes.
space? Okay.
And I tried to get hold of the apartment complex. They've had months to try to get this fixed, and they haven't done anything to get it fixed.
Yeah, after that last bit of contact, and they indicated that they had made the repairs, have you had
I've
or
talked
made
to them.
any efforts to contact them?
I've talked to them a couple times about there's some other issues going on at the apartment complexes over there, and I've been in contact with them. It's just they don't get back to you, and it's been really hard to get them to get it done.
Where are they located? Do you know?
The apartment complex?
No, the management.
They're on property.
They're on property.
Yes, the property manager is there.
Okay. And are they here today?
No, but I have the tenants are here, and they would like to talk. They have some photos they want to show you of the
Okay.
apartment.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the recommendation first before you speak to them?
Go ahead.
Staff recommendations: adjudication of guilt, assess administrative fines of $260.71 plus all other costs incurred, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, would you like to come forward and make a statement?
Good morning.
Please state your name for the
My
record.
name is Antoinette Natil.
Were you here, Ms. Natil?
Yes, I live in the apartment.
When I swore you in?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You may proceed.
My name is Antoinette Natil. I moved to this apartment complex probably in March. The next month or a few days later, I found out that my daughter, Alexis, has cancer. I did not know there were rats in the apartment. You know how you be sitting out watching TV and you will see something dot by? I didn't think anything of it, but I started hearing it in the attic, jeep, 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 all day, all night. I never could catch them. So my other daughter, Ashley, went and bought some traps just in case. And she said she was sitting out watching TV and she looked on the counter and she saw red eyes looking at her. And I jumped up and I saw 4 of them all together running across the kitchen sink. So I contacted the office before I went to work. I work at the VA. My hours are 7:30 to 4. I called, leave a voicemail. No one returned my call. They've had 4 property managers since I've been there since March. 4. I contacted them. They called me back a week later. Oh, we'll get somebody over there. We'll get the bug man over here. So I said, pest control, you can't spray for rats that I know of. They had somebody come out the next week. He didn't knock on the door. And I said, sir, you can't come in. My daughter was getting her port accessed by a home health nurse. I said, it's a clean, sterile environment. You can't come in right this minute. He went back and told the office that I refused to let him in. That's why I refused, because she was getting her port clean to be going in the hospital. Then she was going in the hospital, I guess, once a month for her chemo. Since we've been there in March, she finished treatments, I guess 3 months ago. The cancer's returned. So I did let the doctors know at the cancer center, Dr. James Lynch and his nurses, what's going on with the rats. They said, well, you got to get her out of that environment if you can. That's not good for her, you know, with her chemo and what she's going through. So she had a scratch on her ankle. And she said, Mom, something must have bit me or scratched me in the middle of the night. We do sit out in the living room and watch TV like everybody else. And the scratch had blood just kept coming out. I don't know whether it was a rat that scratched her or what. We never found out. But I've tried to call the office. There was a Elizabeth there when I moved in March. Then a month later, there was another Elizabeth there. 2 months later, there was another one there, Betty. Now there's a new lady named Marsha there. Now, Marsha explained to Miss Antoinette, this is all new to me. I'm just catching up on everything I'm hearing. Sorry you had to go through this. We're going to try to fix it. When they found out that I had called the city, they were upset with me. Why would I do that? Because I didn't know what to do. I need somebody to come and see these rats and my proof. I've got pictures here. Would you care to see them?
Okay, yeah, you can bring them forward. Can we keep these as part of the record?
I got one close board as well.
Okay.
And I've killed probably over 25, 30 of them, and they're still in the apartment.
That's I'm going to introduce those.
They're still in the apartment.
I'm going to introduce the photos of Exhibit A.
Just Saturday gone. My daughter, okay, well, Sister Cassie's come back. She has to go in every other week, so she's got to be admitted right now when we leave here. She goes on Thursday and gets out on Saturday because the cancer's returned. I enjoy staying there, but I shouldn't have to live with all these rats. You can hear them up in the attic. They came back last month. They put sheetrock over the hole he showed you in the attic where the AC vent is. They did put sheetrock up there, but you know rats can squeeze their little bodies. And there's a hole in the floor where I guess some wiring must be. Big hole about that big. They get through that, I'm assuming, because you hear them in there at nighttime. I got traps galore. There's a hole behind the dishwasher. Yes, I did pull it out because that's where some of those pictures are, in front of the dishwasher. You can see the tail sticking out. I hate rats. I did all I could to catch them. I even caught some, put them in buckets alive, let them see them. The maintenance man, Dave, came in and says, oh, you mean you didn't cook them and eat them? That's not a time to make jokes about something like that.
Ma'am, I've heard enough.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to rule. And
Yes.
look, first of all, you know, my heart goes out to you and your family. I wish you the best of luck in your treatments. Okay, but that's enough. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rule. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty. I'm going to assess administrative costs of $260.71 plus all other costs accrued. I'm going to give them 5 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, I'm going to fine them $250 a day.
Okay.
Okay? And there is absolutely no excuse for people having to live that way. We're going to do everything we can to help us, to help you. And if you have any questions, I'm sure that the Code Enforcement Office will be responsive. And I just hope that they get the message that, it's one thing to have these and not address it. I was looking at dates all the way back to August.
Yes.
We are we're well into December now.
It's been
And this has
April.
been going on for quite long
A
enough.
long time.
And I hope that whoever the owner is will get the message.
The owners have never been able to be found, so I had somebody to look up through the courthouse. I think they're out in New York. So when they first heard about it, they did send someone down, Valerie. Valerie says, "Oh, I'm here to see you." So I'm like, "Who are you, ma'am?" Only because I had typed a nice letter and gave to them. "Oh, no, we don't want you to do that. We're going to take care of the problem." The floor was caving in when I called Mr. Hall. So they did pull out all the carpet, but now they've got the gray tile where the stove is. Now there's another hump. If I step on too hard, I'll go through. You can see the outside. They're telling me, "We don't know. Well, we can't move you to another unit." Why not? I
Yeah.
just don't know what to do. That's why I called the city.
Okay, well, I wish y'all the best of luck.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So we were hearing, I want that admitted Exhibit B. The PowerPoint presentation will go in as Exhibit B in this case.
We've got somebody here for item D7 at the top of page 4.
I'm sorry?
We've got somebody here for D7 at the top of page 4.
This will be Special Magistrate number 2022-124, City of Gainesville versus Sunrock Capital LLC. Just hold on, the Code Enforcement Office goes first, and they'll outline the facts of the case and so forth, and then we'll give you an opportunity to address it.
Morning.
Officer Jones, you may proceed, sir.
Yes, sir. Officer Jones, Code Enforcement. Special Magistrate 2022124. The address is 2201 Northeast 15 Terrace. Property information is the parcel number is 10625057000. The owner is Sunrock Capital LLC. Property zoning RSF2. And ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. The property is just off of 23rd, right here. And 15th. It's like right across from, almost right across from Satchel's. So come a little bit down the road. On 10/25/22, I responded to a heating complaint at this address. When I arrived to conduct my inspection, I tested the heating system in the home. I ran the heater for approximately 10 minutes, and and the heater never came on. It was known by the property management company that the heater wasn't working and was never repaired. The system is connected because it does come on. The air comes on, but it doesn't produce any heat. So it's connected, but no heat comes out of the system whatsoever. So that's just the unit. The ordinance violated was 602.3 heating supply. Every owner and operator of any building who rents, leases, or lets one or more dwelling units or sleeping units on terms either expressed or implied to furnish heat to the occupants thereof shall supply heat during the period of the day, any date of the year, to maintain a minimum temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And the corrective action was to furnish heat to the property to ensure the heat is supplied year-round and the property is able to maintain a minimum temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the habitable rooms, bathrooms, toilets. Case timeline. On 10/25/2022, I responded to a complaint at the address. When I arrived to conduct the inspection, I tested the heater. It never came on. On 10/25, I issued a notice of violation. On 2025, service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. On 11/15/2022, I conducted a re-inspection of the property and no repairs had been done. Notice of hearing was posted on the property and at City Hall. I contacted the tenant on 12/7/2022. I contacted the tenant. She stated that she has contacted the property owner and property manager and has not heard back from any of them. Adjudication, staff recommendation, adjudication of guilt, assess administrative cost of $194.33 plus all costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violation into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, we'll assess a fine of $100 a day.
Okay. We'll take your PowerPoint presentation, that is Exhibit 1. And let me hear from the respondent. I don't believe you were here earlier when we swore people in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may proceed. Go ahead and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Grant Barlow. I'm one of the partners of Sunrock Capital. First of all, I apologize sincerely for this. This is actually the first that I was made aware of. It was just last week when we finally got a letter, like a certified letter in the mail. And so my property manager did not make me aware of this. So we had a pretty tough phone call about that. I'm disappointed that it's at this point, and I'm working to get it resolved. The issue that we have right now is that we had a roofer out of Dunellen come in and redo the roof. They put a brand new metal roof on the roof, but they installed the vents, the heating duct vents, incorrectly, and have never closed out the permit, which I just found out as well last week. So we've already paid them in full, and they never closed out our permit. Well, they're not responding anymore. And so we drove out to their office, and it was like a little single wide trailer out in the sticks. No one was there, and we can't seem to get back in contact with the roofer. It's called Grady Cross Roofing. And so we have an open permit. We have a new roof that has some boots on it that are installed correctly. And my property manager, who also dropped the ball, is telling me that that's the reason why the heat won't kick on, is because these boots are installed correctly on the roof. So I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. We have we've called about 6 roofers here in Gainesville. Nobody wants to go out and take on the problem because they said they didn't do the original install. And so they've gone out. We've had 2 that actually been out to the property and inspected it, and both of them said, this is kind of a headache. We don't really want to deal with this. Because they didn't do the original work. And I don't know why it's so complicated, but I guess the boots that vent the air, the noxious gas out, if the heater were to kick on, are just not installed correctly. And I don't know what that entails exactly. And so right now we have a licensed roofer that has tentatively over the phone agreed to come up. We're actually pulling him from Orlando, which is where our office is. He's going to get registered with the county of Alachua in order to come up, meet a licensed HVAC guy who's also based out of Orlando but works with us regularly, who's going to get registered with the county because I guess they both need to be here together at the same time in order to resolve it, because there's something to do with the inside the attic needs to correlate with what's above on the roof, and it's probably going to involve taking about half the roof off in order to put it back on. So we're definitely working on it. With that being said, I was not aware that it was an issue, and I wish the tenant would have, I know she doesn't have my number, but had I known about this, I would have been on it. We'll probably end up changing property managers over it. This is not something that we're pleased about in any way. So we want to get it resolved. I'd like to get your number and make sure that we're in contact. This is not something that we're happy about.
Have you been in touch with the code enforcement officer?
Never heard of him. Nope, have not. So.
Okay.
And I've never seen a notice until the certified letter last week. So.
Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No. Just please let me know what I can do, and I'm 100% focused on getting it resolved. We love the property. We want to take care of it. It's a very valuable. We like the tenants there. They're very respectful, and we want to do right. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to follow the staff's recommendations. It's going to give you 10 days to bring it into compliance, but it'll take a number of days before that order is issued. So it'll probably be anywhere from 17 to 21, 22 days, somewhere in there. By the time the order's prepared, I execute it and it's properly entered. So with that said, I'm going to follow staff's recommendations here because, obviously this needs to be taken care of, and the fact you're having an administrative breakdown within the framework of your business is not really a valid excuse. And I understand the difficulties in securing a contractor. I hear that a lot. Of course, I deal with the industry a lot. But I mean, I do think that you got to be a little bit more aware as a property owner to contact code enforcement, get them engaged. These guys are really a wealth of information on how to deal with these problems. And the fact that there's not even been any communication until this morning, you need to address that within your own business model, whether it's Alachua County, Orange County, whatever. Okay. You got to be more. You got to figure out how to be way more responsive.
Can we provide them with a temporary heat source while we get it sorted out?
I would think that would be maybe potentially a good idea, but I don't know that that's going to bring you into compliance.
What kind
I
of
don't
heat
think it
source would
does.
bring it into compliance?
I think you have to get the contractor and get the.
Provide them a temporary source to be hot, but you have to bring it into compliance.
Right.
Based on everything that's been discussed.
So according to code, you don't have to provide cooling. So you only have to provide heating. So if I put window units that had heat in there, it would bring it to code. Could I just do that while we get it's not, we do not want window units in this property.
We would, I would not be looking for shortcuts, but that's.
I'm not
you're
looking
the
for a
business
shortcut.
person.
Believe me, I'm just telling you, I don't think that we can get this permit resolved. We're going to have to get I have to go now to get
Let me tell you how this works then.
Uh-huh.
So if you're not able to bring it into compliance within the 20 days,
Uh-huh.
and you are diligently working on it, you keep a record of the phone calls that you've made, of the efforts that you've made, the people that you contacted, the schedules that you developed, and then whatever assessment there is of damage, or of the final fine is what I meant to say, is then you can come back and ask that we mitigate that. And I'll evaluate your efforts. Understand, I deal with this stuff every day just like you do. It can be a challenge to find good help, but you can't sit on your hands and expect.
Yeah, nobody's sitting on their hands. Believe me, I'm not sitting on my hands.
You can't sit on your hands
so.
and expect us to mitigate
Yeah.
and take that into account. So you're going to need to have a record, and you're going to need to come in and tell me what you've done and the efforts that you've made and why there's been a failure to comply within the time we've given you.
Yeah, I just know I know the process I'm going to have to take in order to get this contractor with an open permit off of my property, and it's going to take longer than 17 days. I just know that to be a fact. So
Well, you've already had a number of days, and so
I just am now aware of it, though.
Well,
I'm just made aware of it. I've never talked to this officer before. I've never been made aware of this once. This is the first I've been made aware of it.
I get that, and I don't understand why.
Either do I.
No. I'm telling you, I don't. When you got the notice last week, it seems to me that the first thing you should have done was make a phone call.
I did to my property manager.
No, to these guys, and should have called them. That's where you didn't do this right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And begin working on it right then and there. You got your in-house stuff, but you got your connection with.
I can bring it up to code today. I'll get it up to code today. I'll have it resolved today. So.
Well, That's up to you and how you.
Well, I will.
proceed
I will
with
get it up
but-
to code today.
Okay,
Because
but,
I just know for a fact this takes longer than 17 days because I've had to do it before. And when contractors disappear on you, it takes longer than 17 days to get
Well, you're
their
here-
permit closed out and a new contractor to open a new permit in their place.
You're here now, and building department is right behind us in the Thomas Center, and I would encourage you to go down there and on your way out of town and talk to them.
I will. I'll
Okay,
do that. So,
and I think you'll
okay.
find, I'm optimistic you'll find that they're very responsive
Okay.
to your needs.
All right. Appreciate it.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and follow staff's recommendations. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $194.33 plus all other costs accrued, allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of, I'll do $50 a day.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And like I said, if you are unable to meet compliance and you making an effort and making phone calls and diligently searching, the market is a little tight. There's no question about being able to find people that are helpful in this situation. I understand that. Bring that back to me. We'll evaluate your claim.
A lot of
to
roofers
mitigate
are
the-
down south right now. They just picked up shop and they moved down south to help
I
with
have
hurricanes.
several
So,
clients that fit that category, so I understand.
Appreciate it.
Next matter will be, are we back here? City of Gainesville versus Vanessa Ann Latson heirs. It's Special Magistrate number 2022-118, Officer Hall. You may proceed, sir.
All right, I'm Officer Hall again. This is Special Magistrate case number 2022-118. The address is 1623 Southeast 14th Avenue. The property information. The parcel number is 16106-109000. The owner is Watson, Vanessa, and HEIRS. The property zoning is RSF3. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. So the location right here it's in Lincoln Estates,
Okay.
right off of 15th. On 7/29/2022, I observed that grass was overgrown at this property. I left a door hanger at the location with a requested compliance date of 8/8/22. This is the location here, the overgrown grass right here. This was taken on 7/29/2022. The violation is 3024 weeds. The premise and exterior property shall be maintained free from weeds or plant growth in excess of 12 inches. Noxious weeds shall be prohibited. Weeds shall be defined as all grasses, annual plants, and vegetation other than trees or shrubs provided. However, this term shall not include cultivated flowers and gardens. This is the photo taking on 9/22. You can still see the grass hasn't been cut. Case timeline. Like I said, on 7/29/2022, I observed the grass was overgrown. After checking back on it on 8/17/2022, I re-inspected the property. The grass had not been cut. I issued a notice of violation. On 8/17/2022, service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. On 9/22, the grass had not been cut, and I requested a hearing with Special Magistrate. It got pushed back last month because it was canceled. So then on 10/27, I posted a notice of hearing on the property in City Hall. Here is the photo taken on the 6th. It's still showing that the grass is overgrown. Staff recommendation, adjudication of guilt. assess administrative costs of $222.52, plus all other costs incurred. Allow 10 days to bring violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess the fine of $25 a day.
Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $222.52, plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $25 a day. I think we go back to the first one, City of Gainesville versus CAFFIE and CAFFIE HEIRS, Special Magistrate number 2022-117. Mr. Hall, before I forget, let's admit on the previous case, Exhibit A, or Exhibit 1. So let's proceed with the CAFFIE case.
I'm Officer Hall again. This is Special Magistrate Case 2022-117. The address is 1615 Southeast 15th Avenue. The property information, the parcel number is 16107503005. The owner is CAFFIE and CAFFIE HEIRS. The property zoning is RSF3. Ownership was established by researching official public record and documents. This is nearby the other property. This is in Lincoln Estates off of 15th over there, near 15th.
Okay.
On 8/2/22, I observed that grass was overgrown at this property. I left a door hanger at the location and requested a call to discuss the violation. You can see that the grass is overgrown right here. That was taken on 8/2. The violation is 302.4 weeds. The premise of an exterior of the property shall be maintained free from weeds or plant growth in excess of 12 inches. This is a photo taken on 9/22, still showing that the grass is overgrown. On 8/2/22, I observed that the yard was overgrown at this location. I left a door hanger. On 8/18, I re-inspected the property and the grass has still not been cut. At this time, I issued a notice of violation. Service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. On 9/22, the grass has still not been cut and I requested a hearing with Special Magistrate. On 10/27/2022, I posted a notice of hearing on the property in City Hall. Special Magistrate hearing was canceled for last month due to weather, so I posted a new notice of hearing on the property in City Hall on 11/21/22. This is the grass that's still overgrown here. This was taken on the 6th. Staff recommendations is adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $222.52, plus all other costs incurred. Allow 10 days to bring the violation into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess the fine of $25 a day.
Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $222.52, plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $25 a day. The PowerPoint presentation is admitted as Exhibit 1 in the case. Thank you, sir. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Gary Kendrick, Special Magistrate number 2022-126. You may proceed, Officer Hall. You're busy this morning.
Last one. This is Special Magistrate Case number 2022-126. The address is 103 Northeast 18th Street. The property information is a parcel number of 11207000000. The owner of record is Kendrick Gary. The property zoning is RC Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. The location is right over here. It's near Northeast 3rd and Northeast 18th.
Okay.
On 10/14/2022, I observed that there's trash around and inside the structure of the property. So this is some of the trash right here that was taken on 10/14.
Is that a garage or?
So I guess there used to be a house here on the property, and then we took the house down a long time ago, and then they left the garage here. There's some people that hang out in the garage. There's like a couch, a bed inside there, and other trash inside of that.
It looks like the roof is missing pieces up there on the top right-hand side. Is that a hole?
I believe it's whole.
Okay. Just
I have
trying to
another
get-
photo of it, I believe.
No, that's all right. Just,
The ordinance violation is 308.1, accumulation of rubbish or garbage. Accumulation of rubbish or garbage. Exterior property and premises and the interior of every structure shall be free of any accumulation of rubbish or garbage. On 10/17/2022, I observed the rubbish accumulating on the property. I issued a notice of violation with a compliance date of 11/14/2022. On 10/17/2022, service was achieved by posting the property and City Hall with a notice of violation. On 11/16/2022, I re-inspected the property and the trash had not been picked up. At this time, I requested a hearing with the special magistrate. On 11/21/22, I posted the notice of hearing on the property in City Hall. So here's some more of the trash. There's a closer photo of on 12/7/2022. Staff recommendations. Adjudication of guilt. Assess the administrative costs of $160.96, plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $25 a day.
is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $160.96 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $25 a day. We'll admit the PowerPoint as Exhibit 1 to the case. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Nicole A. Biner, Special Magistrate number 2022-123. Officer Jones.
Morning again.
You may proceed, sir.
Yes, sir. Special Magistrate case number 2022123. The address is 2121 Northeast 12th Terrace. The property information is parcel number 10601005000. The property owner is Nicole Biner. Property zoning is RSF2, and ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. This property is located just a couple blocks down from the last one, so it's on 23rd, same one. On 9/13/22, I conducted an inspection of the property. My inspection revealed that the property had multiple violations. The grass was overgrown. There was an abandoned vehicle in the yard, debris was in the yard, and the building appeared to be damaged and unsecured. That's the picture. That's the debris, some debris back here too. That's a hole like right there over that part of it. The ordinances violated was 308.1, accumulation of rubbish and garbage. The other was 302.8, motor vehicles. Except for as provided in the regulations, inoperable or unlicensed motor vehicles shall not be parked, kept, or stored on any premises. The other one was 302.4, weeds. Premises and exterior properties shall be maintained free from weeds and plants growth in excess of 10 for commercial, or 12 for residential properties. And exterior, and the other one was 304.6, exterior walls. Exterior walls shall be free from holes, breaks, and loose rotting material, and maintained waterproof or properly surface coated where required, and to prevent deterioration. The case timeline, on 9/13/2022, I observed multiple violations. An abandoned vehicle on the property, the grass was overgrown, and there was debris in the yard. There was appeared to be damage and disrepair on the building, and a door hanger was left to advise of the violations. On 10/19/22, I returned. I issued a notice of violation for the overgrown grass, the rubbish, abandoned vehicles, and the exterior structure damage. On 10/19, service was achieved by posting the property and City Hall with a notice of violation. On 11/8/2022, I conducted a reinspection of the property. The property remained in violation. A request for magistrate hearing was made. On 11/22, I posted the notice of hearing on the property and at City Hall. This picture was taken on 11/8. Staff recommendation was adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $194.88, plus all costs accrued, allow 15 days to bring the violation into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day.
Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendations. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $194.88, plus all other costs accrued, allow 15 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day. PowerPoint presentation is admitted as Exhibit 1 to the case. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Deborah Culver, Special Magistrate number 2022-120. Officer Lardner, you may proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, just to reiterate, Special Magistrate Case 2022-120. The address is 5921 Northwest 34th Terrace, and it was investigated by myself, Nicole Lardner. The parcel number for the property is 06066028000. The property owner is Deborah Culver. Zoning is RSF1, and it was established by Public Records and Documents. It is located just south of Northwest 53rd Avenue in the Possum Creek neighborhood.
Okay.
So 34th Street, 34th Street is directly to the east. So on June 22nd of this year, Officer DiMuccio conducted an initial investigation on this case, and he determined that there were violations present. Officer DiMuccio has since separated employment from the City of Gainesville, and this case was reassigned to me on October 6th of this year. This is a photo that I took on the 6th of October to accurately depict the property. So there's various items of trash and rubbish throughout the yard that should not be stored there.
You know if the owner or is it a tenant?
It's owner occupied to my knowledge.
Okay.
The violation was 308.1 for accumulation of rubbish. The owner was advised to remove and properly dispose of all rubbish, garbage, broken items, debris, and so on. This is just another overall of the property. For the case timeline, again, June 22nd, Officer DiMuccio conducted his initial inspection and confirmed violation. He issued a notice of violation on that date, sending a copy to the property owner via certified and first-class mail. He also posted the property in City Hall on that date. On October 6th, the case was transferred to me, and I re-inspected the property and found that the violation had not been remedied. On the 12th of October, I requested a hearing with the special magistrate as the original notice had expired in July. On the 28th of October, I posted the property in City Hall with a notice of hearing. On the 1st of November, I spoke with Ms. Culver via telephone. She requested additional time to bring the property into compliance. Being that I had no experience in dealing with her or her efforts, I gave her an additional 30 days and requested a case continuance. On the 21st of November, I posted the property in City Hall with a new notice of hearing. And on the 7th of December, I re-inspected the property and the rubbish has not been removed. These are photos from yesterday to show what the property currently looks like. Recommendations are adjudication of guilt, allow 15 days to comply, assess administrative costs of $186.16 and any other cost accrued, and assess a daily fine of $25 a day.
Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, allow 15 days to comply, assess administrative costs of $186.16 plus all other costs accrued, and assess a daily fine of $25 a day. The PowerPoint presentation is admitted as Exhibit 1 to the case. I believe that completes the agenda, doesn't it? Anything? Do you want me to? Just for the record?
Sure, please.
Okay. The following cases are in compliance, I think is the term. And that would be Special Magistrate number 2022-125, City of Gainesville versus Brown and Williams. And that is going to be in compliance is Special Magistrate number 2022-121, City of Gainesville versus Leon and Leon Oritz, husband and wife. And then we have the following case has been dismissed, which is Special Magistrate number 2022-122, City of Gainesville versus KCAP Refund 2 LLC. Anything else? All of these?
That's just one.
Oh, okay. And then there's also in compliance is Special Magistrate number 2022-7379, City of Gainesville versus Kenneth Wetherington. That is dismissed and in compliance. Anything else to come before the magistrate this morning? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Everyone have a happy holiday season.